Hello, Steve White, Trek Boy 89 for Steve White's 89. Well, it's happening. I was behind the ball. I didn't realize that people sort of knew that a Pike show was actually in pre production. I saw a couple of videos and realized I'd heard rumors for ages. I didn't actually believe any of it was actually happening. So I wasn't paying attention. And I just did a video the other day and I'm like, oh, looks like this is happening. It sounds like they actually have a show in pre production and they've got the name and it's all happening, and now it has been officially announced because it still was rumor, but there was evidence that there was a show called Strange New Worlds being produced, and it sounded a lot like Star Trek, and Star Trek people were involved, and um, it's been announced. It's on Entertainment Weekly. It's on StarTrek.com. CBS has officially announced that they have put in a order for the show, and yeah, it's happening. I'm sort of in a little bit of shock, but not a lot because I sort of had a day of preparation, didn't realize, oh, it's coming. Um, Series premiere was written by Akiva Goldsman. So the only issue with this show is the people involved are the same people who did Discovery and Picard, and there were issues with those shows. Now, this is a different show. They seem to be aiming in a different direction, and there's every chance it can be different and better. But it does scare me that the same people are involved because there were huge problems in the production. Putting all the politics and hate aside, just plain old fashioned plot, story, character issues. If they can just get past them, it could be a good show. So yeah, so Akiva Goldsman wrote the premiere, and the story was by Akiva Goldsman, Alex Kurtzman, and Jenny Lumet. And I don't know who Jenny Lumet is. Goldsman, Kiva, and Lumet, Kurtzman, will serve as executive producers in addition to a whole lot of people. Henry Alonso Myers, Heather Caden, Rod Roddenberry, and Trevor Roth, Aaron Bayers, Akila Cooper, and Davey Perez will serve as co-executive producers. Akiva Goldsman is going to stay executive producer and a key part of the creative team of Star Trek Picard. Now, Akiva Goldsman just has a bad reputation. He's famous for putting nipples on the bat suit, and just he I don't know if he's as bad as everyone says, but it scares me a little bit. But because I want to be optimistic, I want to actually believe this is going to be good. I got they have a video on StarTrek.com with Anson Mount, who just looks grizzly as the moment. He's so grey. He looks about 10 years older than when I met him like last year. And of course, a blonde Rebecca Romijn. I'm so used to seeing her as Una now. I forget she's blonde. And Ethan Peck, who I think is actually pretty hot. So I don't mind him playing Spock. I think by the time he got to the end of the series, he had found the character, but the writers put him through some very un-Spock-like scenarios leading up to that. But I'm not going to hold that against him because he didn't write that. He just acted his best, and I think he did a good job. They did a video basically announcing it, saying this is for you. You asked for it. We listened. We are so happy to do this. We're glad to be able to talk about this. And Anson Mount said, we're glad to be able to announce this in this time of all these problems, and we're going to do a classic Star Trek show. I'm holding him to this classic Star Trek show about optimism, and basically what the old Star Trek stood for, which it can be saved. That's the thing. I mean, canon problems aside, the licensing issues and the look being all changed, all that sort of stuff, modernized, 25%, all that stuff. I can let that stuff go if the story is there, if the characters are there, if the intention is to portray Gene's universe, this optimistic utopian future in a humanistic fashion that doesn't use politics basically and take a side. Even though it was taking my side, which is the left side, it was alienating all the right people, and that doesn't allow for thought-provoking science fiction when you're picking a side and attacking people. And if they can just get past all of that and just focus on creating a good Star Trek show, possibly episodic, which is how it's sounding, more episodic than the other shows. More classic, just go out and explore. I think they can do it. Oh God, I shouldn't, but I'm being optimistic. I'm actually letting myself almost get excited. I got a bit of an adrenaline rush when I saw that video. I was like, oh my God, Star Trek. Star Trek's coming back. They had the classic music. Anson said classic Star Trek. Optimistic. I mean, is this just a selling point? Are they just marketing me because I'm a moron and I'm just going to jump because I want Star Trek so bad I'll take anything? Is that what they think? Or are they actually realizing, okay, we tried to go in this direction and it didn't really work, so let's just go back in this direction and do it in a modern but traditional, because you can have both. So I don't know if I'm being stupid or I'm being optimistic, and I'm not excited, but it could have been Section 31. That was what they were originally supposed to be doing now, Section 31, but that seems to be gone, which was the absolute 100% opposite worst idea, absolute opposite of Star Trek. And they're not doing that, and they're doing this, which is what I thought they should have done in the first place, a Pike series before Kirk. This is what I thought they should have done in the first place instead of Discovery. And now they're doing it. So even if it's a slow, like rising out of the gutter, as long as they get there in the end and we get Star Trek, I can forgive what's happened in the last couple of years if they go back and we actually get Star Trek. So more of what they said here basically just said that the fans fell in love with the characters, with the actors portraying them, and basically they listened. There's a quote here from, if I can find it, Alex Kurtzman actually saying, when we said we heard the fans' outpouring of love for Pike number 1 and Spock when they boarded Star Trek Discovery last season, we meant it. Kurtzman said, the iconic characters have a deep history in Star Trek's canon, yet so much of their stories have yet to be told. With Akiva and Henry at the helm, the Enterprise, its crew and its fans are in for an extraordinary journey to new frontiers in the Star Trek universe. Now, considering that CBS All Access, which was struggling, is now going to get a boost from all the Paramount content and a rebranding, I again feel more optimistic. I don't know who's paying for this. I don't know if Amazon's paying for this, if CBS is actually investing in it itself, if Netflix is willing to actually take on this series. They didn't want Picard and they got out of Discovery. I just hope the budget is there. Even though they've already built the sets, they used Picard's money, I think, certainly on season 3 of Discovery, but maybe season 2 as well. I don't know. But they built the set, they've got the costumes, they've got the actors, they've done a good job. I'm feeling good about this, but I'm also scared because I've been burned twice now. I was burned by Discovery in the first place. I was kind of burned when Pike, I kind of was liking Pike, but then they kept pulling the Discovery cards back out and sort of you couldn't really enjoy the Pike stuff. And then I thought, God, they could have just gone straight into a series, and they're not. And we got Picard, and Picard was just more Discovery, but in the 24th century, and just had so many issues. I just am struggling with the characters being murderers, cold-blooded killers. These are not Gene Roddenberry humans, and it's very hard to watch. But even with the actors, even with Picard, even with Patrick Stewart back, but then again, Nepenthe, or whatever the name of that episode was, with Riker and Troy, which I hear was done afterwards in reshoots, was an afterthought, was good. And my thinking was, if they can just sort of focus on this, then I can get into this show. But that was just one episode. It was a one-off fluke, odd episode out of that whole season. But there's no reason why season 2 can't go more in that direction. Can't have, I don't know, I'm excited, I'm optimistic, but I'm cautious because we have been burned and we have been attacked for being burned. And I've been insulted. My intelligence has been insulted, and my morality has been insulted. I've been called an incel and a hater and a racist and a sexist, all these things because I had problems with Discovery's adaptation of the Star Trek universe and philosophy and all of that, which means a lot to me. But I'm going to go. This is just was supposed to be just a quick video because, what I was talking about yesterday as looking like it's going to happen has actually been announced. So we're getting a new series. It's in that same Discovery era, 10 years before Kirk. They're apparently going to involve Kirk somehow. Might break canon, but I see this as an alternative universe, and I don't care if it's an alternative universe so long as it's a Star Trek show. Just like the movies, if they had gone in a different direction for the second and third films, after the first film opened up really well and established the characters and everything, I could have gone with that and really enjoyed that as well. But they didn't. So I'm okay with a reboot. I'm okay with a reimagining. I'm okay with an alternative universe, whatever, so long as in its heart it's Star Trek, it's hopeful, it's optimistic, it actually makes me believe in the future as a place I want to be, as opposed to just feeling like it's just going to get worse, which is all Discovery and Picard have really said is it's going to get worse and the worse. We're going to have politicians destroying, things, and just people treating people horribly, and government Section 31 stuff like that, just manipulating, and everything dark and hateful, and this wasn't a place I wanted to be. The characters weren't people I wanted to know. I didn't want to be on that ship. I wanted to be on Pike's Enterprise. I wanted to be under Pike's command. I liked him. I liked Una. I liked Spock, even though his evolution in their thing is like, I'm not even going to get into all that. It's going to be a whole other video, and it's already 11 minutes. I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe, comment, please. I really want to know what people think about this. Should we be optimistic? Should we be excited? Or should we be cautious? And I mean, I'm not going to be able to relax until I've seen the first episode. And I know there will be problems, but the issue is, are they going to be small enough that we can sort of ignore them and enjoy the show as a whole? That's all I'm hoping for. I'm going to go. Thanks, bye.